What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of alaunesports, episode 64. On today's episode, we will be discussing major topics. The first topics we'll be discussing is Manchester United, new transfers, rumors, and we'll also go into the second topic will be Real Madrid, the 4-4-2 formation with the question mark. And as well, for the third topic, we will be discussing PSG transfer grade for the summer. And we will close the show with the NBA selected team that will be representing the USA team for the World Cup FIBA tournament. What's going on, everybody? You are joined with your host, Richy and Mike, for episode 64 alaunesports. You can listen to episode 64 and alaunesports on YouTube, alaunesports, and also on Apple and Spotify. It has been a long time, and this episode is brought to you by an excessive heat. I'm not sure if you had heat also in New York, Mike, but man, July was a crazy month. In the weather. It was very hot.
Yes, it was.
What's going on, Mike?
Not much, brother, but yes, it was indeed, man. It was. It's been a while. We'll call it summer vacation.
Yeah, I mean, I told everyone like when even on Twitter, I'm like, I'm not talking about Knicks this summer. I'm on a break. I don't really talk about Real Madrid like that, and just in case if there's a news, I'll be like, I'm more on my burner account, Mike. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm on summer break. The real Richie's on summer break.
Yeah, man. But yeah, it's been disgusting around here in New York. I mean, it's been getting a little bit better at night. Like during the day, like the humidity is like super disgusting, and then at night it goes down a little bit. But I can't wait to be over with this. I'm not gonna lie. And some people are already crying because the temperature started to drop in the 70s. They're like, oh man,
winter.
Summer's over already. I'm like, yeah, man, summer could fuck off.
Bye, summer. Nah, but it's crazy, like, cause I think it was last week, either Friday or Thursday. I was getting out of my house like around 8:15, 8:10, and it was very hot. 8:10. It was very hot. I was like, no way. I knew what kind of day it was gonna be.
Yeah.
It's gonna be one of those days. Like it's gonna be crazy.
It's so hot. You see what happened in the. I mean, I didn't want to make the joke, but you know the Montgomery fight.
They got people going crazy.
It's like my man swam out that water like ready to. He was already about it, man.
He was ready about it, bro. Like people are going crazy. Oh man, that was funny. But so yeah, on today's episode, we'll start with the first topic of Manchester United. But before we start, I will give you a quick bites on the Women's World Cup 2023, Mike. And I got some good ones for you today, Mike, because there's gonna be some histories, and you're gonna like that. You're gonna like that. So for the round of 16, the first game was Spain versus Switzerland. 5-1. Spain won. Guess what, Mike? So this is gonna be Spain's first quarterfinals.
Wow.
So they just that's the first time they're reaching the quarterfinals, and they have a very good team, to be honest. They have great players that play for Barcelona, so that's gonna be their first part. Sorry.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of shocked. Damn, that's like their first.
Yeah, I know, right? Like in 2019, they reached the round of 16, so it's gonna be their first quarterfinals. And the second team, it was Japan versus Norway. So Japan is not really new to the quarterfinal scene. Japan has won before the World Cup in 2011 when they beat USA. So it's just the third time again reaching the quarterfinals. They're not new to the scene. And like I said in the first episode of the Women's World Cup guide, the Asian teams are very, very structured. Even in the men's teams as well, like they have very great structure. You've seen that again. I'm not sure if you saw the game of China versus Haiti. They had a red card, but they still stayed structured throughout the game. That made very hard for the Haitian team to score goals, even though they were very close. But Japan is not new to the scene. Like I said, it's gonna be the third quarterfinals. They beat. Let me see what team they beat. Sorry, they beat Norway, and I'm gonna let you guys know also what team they're gonna face in the quarterfinals. Netherlands versus South Africa. This was a good game. I was watching this game actually. So South Africa, like it's their first participation in the round of 16, and they stunned Italy actually 3-2 in the group stage, Mike. They were in a group that had Argentina, Italy, South Africa, and I kind of missing out like in the. Hold on, I'm gonna let you know exactly who was in the last team. What was it? I got you right now. Yeah, so it was Sweden.
It's tough.
So Sweden actually who beat USA, but we're gonna get to that. That was a tough team, and they got out and they made history. They reached the round of 16. Unfortunately, they lost 2-0 against Netherlands, but there was a part of the game where they really put some pressure on Netherlands, to be honest. Like they were giving a lot. They gave they gave everything they had. They pressed a lot. Unfortunately, they was not able to score, but Netherlands in their end, they're not new to the scene. 2019, they reached the finals, so they're just trying to get the ball rolling again and to see if they can reach another finals and probably make history and win the first World Cup, their first World Cup. So that was it. That was Netherlands versus South Africa. Netherlands won 2-0. The major shock of the tournament is United States versus Sweden, Mike.
Yep, I heard about this.
Would you believe that? If I
wouldn't.
Like before the World Cup that USA will be out in the round of 16, what would you say?
Yeah, I'd say no shot. I would say no shot. Yeah,
it happened, Mike. It's their first time they get knocked out in the round of 16 because USA is a team that's always reached very far in our competition. They won back-to-back. They were looking for the three-peat in NBA terms. It's not going to happen because they lost against Sweden in penalties. So many things people are saying that even the last game, they were shaky before they reached the round of 16 against Netherlands. Netherlands was winning 1-0 until like they get the equalizer. Everyone was saying kind of like that team is kind of like shaky a little bit. They're in a transition as well. A lot of people are not going to be in that team. Rapinoe. I'm not sure if Alex Morgan will be back as well. They have new kids in the block, but as well, I was saying that in the group chat, many teams are catching up as well. Like smaller teams, they're catching up. Like they have good infrastructure in the team. They have more academies. They're getting more technical players. So it's like in the World Cup we saw for 2022 for the men's. A lot of teams shocked you, like Cameroon beating Brazil, Morocco reaching semifinal. Like teams are like catching up to major teams. Like look at Germany. Germany didn't reach the second round.
They're not that many small teams. Yeah, they're not that many small teams anymore.
Yeah. So that was the other round of 16 game was Sweden versus United States, where Sweden won in penalty 5-4. The other one is England versus Nigeria. This one also went to penalty. I'm not sure if you saw the red card of Lowen James when she stepped on the Nigerian player.
I didn't. I just saw Twitter, reacting to it.
Yeah, she apologized. She said that at the heat of the moment she wasn't sure why she did it, but she apologized to the player, and yeah, so they won it in penalty as well. Let me see if there's any histories for that game. Yes, actually, no, there's no histories because Nigeria actually is the only African team that reached the quarterfinals in 1999. So there's not much history. England is not new to the block. They've been in semifinals before. They're just trying to build that momentum from winning the Euro, the last Euro they won. So they're trying to build that momentum from winning the Euro to bring it to the World Cup to try to make history from themselves and winning their first World Cup. So that was it. So they're gonna roll to the quarterfinals. And the other games that we had for the round of 16 was Australia versus Denmark. I'm not sure if you know, Mike. Australia is one of the hosts of the
Yep.
tournament. The other host is out. New Zealand didn't reach the round of 16, unfortunately, but Australia, they won against Denmark 2-0. So there's not much history for Australia, but however, they're reaching their first, I mean, not their first quarterfinal, but they haven't reached it since 2015. So they're back in the scene. Do you know Kerr, Mike? Sam
No,
Kerr?
no.
She plays for Chelsea. She's a striker. She's also on
Oh,
she's
okay.
not on the cover of FIFA, but she's also on the, like when
Yeah,
you go,
I
huh?
see who it is. I see who it is now.
So
Yeah, cause
she
I've
was
seen it.
injured
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning of the tournament. She hasn't played in the first 3 games, and she played in the second half of the round of 16. So that's a good news for Australia that she's back, and she can probably, because like the tournament is getting a little bit tougher now. You're gonna play against tough teams, so you need like quality players like her. So she's back.
Yeah,
So
that's the only
hopefully she
reason
can be
why I know
healthy now.
her.
What'd you say?
That's the only reason why I know her, because of FIFA. I think
Yeah,
she was like rated like close to 90, if
yeah,
not
she's a great
90.
player. She made the Ballon d'Or list, top 3, in the last Ballon d'Or. So she's a very talented player. So they beat Denmark 2-0. The other game is Colombia, Mike, versus Jamaica. This one you're gonna like what I have to say for it. Colombia won 1-0 in the round of 16, so they go into their first quarterfinals. But here it is. According to The Guardian, this is the first quarterfinal since 12 years that a team not named in Brazil is going to the quarterfinal for South America. So Brazil was the only team that was reaching those quarterfinals. You want me to repeat it for you?
Say that again.
Okay. So this is Colombia's first quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm.
So they're making history reaching the finals by beating Jamaica 1-0. And for more history, this is the first team in South America since 12 years that is reaching the quarterfinal, not naming Brazil.
Oh, okay.
According to The Guardian. That's good. For Jamaica, you're gonna like also Jamaica. Unfortunately, they lost against Colombia, but it's their second World Cup. They participated in 2019. Second World Cup, you're reaching round of 16. And guess what, Mike? Guess how many goals they conceded in that tournament?
How many?
Just one.
2?
Just that Colombia. Just that one, man. So that's a hell of a tournament for the Reggae girls, man.
Yeah.
Like, second World Cup is a very tough World Cup. Reaching the round of 16, unfortunately, they lost against Colombia,
and they
who's
had
also
to,
making their history.
And they had to get crowdfunding to make it to the World Cup, right?
Yeah. Nigeria also had an issue like that as well before they reached the tournament. African teams always got very tough. Well, not Jamaica's not important at the tournament. I mean the African continent, but Nigeria had a problem with funding. Jamaica as well. So having problem like this and having to think about it and preparing for a major tournament like that and reaching the round of 16 and conceding 1 goal, props to them, man. Props to the Reggae girls. The last game of the round of 16 was France versus Morocco. You know, usually France versus Morocco is a classic now. We've seen it in the 2022 World Cup.
World Cup, yeah.
And unfortunately, that was a little different aspect now because France crushed Morocco 4-0. But it was a great thing for Morocco because it's their first tournament and they reached the round of 16. So they have so many things to take out of that, you know. So that was the last round of 16 a game. So the quarterfinal is going to be Spain versus Netherlands tomorrow at 9 p.m. Japan versus Sweden 3:30 a.m. Australia versus France on Saturday at 3 a.m. Actually, Japan and Sweden is on Friday at 3:30 a.m. and Australia France is on Saturday at 3 a.m. Wait, what did I say for Japan and Sweden, Mike? I said Friday.
Yeah, I think you corrected it back to Friday.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And England and Colombia on Saturday as well at 6:30 a.m. I wanted to say something for Sweden. Like they're a team that hasn't won the World Cup, but Sweden is giving me Netherlands and Portugal vibe. Like if I'm comparing to the men national team, it's a team that always get close but cannot get it. Like Netherlands against Spain in 2014, I remember.
And 10, I think,
and even before, like way before, also like reaching third place, I guess, in 1998, if I'm not mistaken. And Yeah, Sweden's giving me like those kind of team vibes. Hopefully, like they can, after making history against USA, I hope they get very far away. So yeah, that was the quick bites for the Women's World Cup 2023.
Before we get off of it, who's your
Mhm.
favorite?
Favorite who?
Who's your favorite to win right now? Who
Oh,
you got?
okay. So like the tournament just shook a little bit. So my favorite to win, from how I'm looking at the games that they play, the way they play as well, I want to say that Spain is gonna win.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Spain's gonna win. If I have a second choice, I would say Netherlands. I like the way they play. Also, they have like their CDM is very composed. Like she sees the field.
Okay. Well, you heard it first.
What about you? What do you think? If you had to,
guess. I have not watched. So
if you just had to guess,
I would say France.
Okay, that's a good choice.
I would say
you know
France.
you know who's the coach, right?
Yes, I do.
Dramatic guy, man.
Mr. White Shirt.
Mr. White Shirt. That white shirt probably going for auction for like $1 million right now.
Mr. White Shirt. Every time if they show this man, if they show this man, they got to show his shoes, man. They have to show his shoes on camera.
That boy's fresh.
Yeah.
All right. So we're done with quick bites, Mike, and we can start with our first topic of the day. Your famous team that's gonna start the Premier League on Monday, right?
Is it on Monday already?
On Monday, you're playing against Wolves.
I thought I had more time.
Nope.
I thought I had more time.
Right away, my friend. Get ready. I thought it was stressful games.
I thought it was next weekend. Everybody's stressed already. They're saying we're facing new manager bounce.
14th. What'd you say?
We're facing new manager bounce 1 game into the season already. Like the man Lopetegui quits his team 5 days before the competition starts.
That's crazy. Is he getting an offer in Saudi?
I mean, I don't know. Like if he quit that way, like there's some money that got to be coming from somewhere.
Premier League is giving him more money than Spain. So I'm like, where do you go from there if it's not Saudi? Or maybe it's different. Maybe different thoughts. I haven't really read about it too much, but facing manager bounce.
Yeah. Because we don't know how that team's going to line up come Monday now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So like for a fact that you had like a couple transfers, Ramses coming in for 75 million euros, or Nana for 52.50. That was when I saw. I was like, "What? Johnny Evans is in your team?"
Yeah, we signed him
on the free.
He was supposed to just be doing preseason with us, but I guess
he's still here.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna sign him for the rest of the season. I mean, he's good around the club. Like we probably need that type of figure at the club again. So Maguire's hopefully leaves.
Yeah.
So we'll need some.
Mason Mount coming in for 64, and then the for sure out was already Telles, De Gea, Axel, and Phil Jones. And then, like you said, the rumors is Maguire to West Ham hopefully, and then I think also they're trying to offload. What's his name again?
Fred
and
McTominay, Van der Beek. All those guys are on the chopping block. It's just a matter. Talk to me
about the team. Like, I know we were discussing about the team. Talk to me about them. Like, how do you see your lineup on Monday? What's the formation? What's the roles? What's the problems? Like, unleash.
Yeah. I mean, how we're gonna line up is the typical 4-2-3-1 type of formation with Mason Mount and Bruno Fernandes splitting duties next to Casemiro deep in midfield, it seems like, to protect the back line. The only question mark is who's going to start at left, but it seems like, Rasmus is going to be out for a few weeks. So Rashford will be starting at the number 9 role for Manchester United at the start of the season. We'll see how things goes. And Garnacho will be slotted in the left-hand side, and Anthony will be on the right hand. Sancho will be, I think, the main backup striker. I put that in air quotes because Ten Hag has played him throughout preseason in the false 9 role. He hasn't really been deployed on the wings at all whatsoever. Facundo Pellistri has played a little bit more. So I think he wanted to bring on Amad Diallo as well, but unfortunately he got injured and he was having a pretty good preseason. But for now, like the problems I see happening with this team is the midfield. It still remains a problem. Casemiro, I mean, I think everybody on Twitter probably has seen the jokes when we played Real Madrid. Carlo Ancelotti, Cruz, and Modric surrounded him and was making fun of him. He's like, "Oh man, you put on quite a few pounds since you joined Manchester United, man." It's like you're looking a little pudgy there, my boy.
You're looking chubby over here.
You're looking a little pudgy there, my boy. So he looks off the pace already, but I think it was the same way last year. I think he's older in age, so once you get those, that time off and vacation, it takes a little bit longer to actually get reacclimated and get back in shape. So it's gonna take him a little bit of time. So I think that's where the main issue is going to lie. It's really going to be the defensive structure of the team. And the other thing is, like, where are the goals coming from? Which is why we signed Mason Mount. Rashford, I'm thinking is going to be really frustrated at the beginning of the season. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I think it's really going to take some time to figure out how to actually play Bruno Fernandes and Mason Mount in the midfield together. But from the last game that he fielded his starters, or who we think are going to be the starters going into the first game of the season, Mason Mount was technically playing the number 8 role, but Bruno Fernandes ended up playing more of that role, and Mason Mount went into the 10 slot, where he actually played free. He went to the left, he went to the right, he's had a pretty decent preseason, but obviously we saw the missed goal. We saw the missed goal that he had in preseason. And Onana, the same thing too. So communication and chemistry is going to be key going into the first week of the season. But those are the problems I'm really seeing. It's really how are we going to solidify the midfield with Bruno, Mason Mount, and Casemiro in the midfield. And you have guys like Garnacho, Rashford. I'm not worried about Anthony. I've said it many, many times on the podcast. Like, yes, he's a little shaky, going forward, with only having one left foot and really being very selfish, doesn't look to pass as much, but
he works hard.
Exactly. His defensive work rate is there, so I'm not
he
really
balances
worried
the
about
team
that.
a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm not really worried about that. It's the other aspects. Rashford is going to be deployed at number 9, so we don't really care for him to defend anyways. But, Garnacho on the left-hand side, that's a little weak point. Bruno Fernandes is not the most disciplined midfielder when it comes to defending, but he works hard. Same thing for Mason Mount, I would say. So it's not always about working hard. Like, Wout Weghorst came into the team and he worked hard, but he was a bum. So, but, it's just what it is. It's not always about, like, we do the hard yards, but you have to be disciplined. You have to know how to anticipate. You have to know how to tackle. You have to know your understanding of positioning and all that stuff. So this is where I'm concerned for Manchester United. That's it. But I think
I'd be interested to see the first game to see how, like, what are they trying to build and how they're trying to shape their team.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you talked about solidifying.
It's cool, bro.
Your midfield. And there is a rumor, I'm not sure at what point they are at that contact or if they're still interested. Amrabat, if he comes in, how does he help your team? What do you see he can do for you that you're lacking?
He's going to be a very good option when Casemiro gets suspended or injured. I don't see him as a starter, especially he has to get acclimated with, the Premier League, which is the same thing Casemiro had to do. Casemiro had to sit on the bench for 3 to 4 weeks before he became a starter on the team, while Fred and McTominay and Fred and Eriksen were McTominay and Eriksen were destroying the midfield. Defensively, that is, Eriksen is still a very good player, but yes, that's what I see. Like he's a good option to have because we don't really have like Kobe Mino was supposed to be the other guy, which I think would have gotten the nod a lot of times to start next to Casemiro, and maybe Bruno and Mason Mount start. They probably start Mason Mount on the left hand side in case Garnacho is not really being productive, but he's injured as well, so that's where I see him as. Because again, Casemiro is on the decline. He's not getting any younger. He's on the decline, but he's still one of the best defensive midfielders in the world. There's no question about it. But he got suspended a lot last year. That's just the nature of Casemiro. He's going to get suspended.
So you have that backup that you can introduce to the team and get the work done.
100%. A guy that's good on the ball, a guy that can run and actually defend wingers. Like when you have your fullbacks attacking, he can actually cover. Yeah. Unlike a McTominay and unlike a Eriksen.
Now, final question for the Manchester United talk. It's gonna be tough, but if you had to do a starting 11 of every Manchester United team, Manchester United players that you like, how would it look like? On top, I wanted to catch off guard a little bit.
Of all time?
Yeah, of all time, but it's your choice. So it doesn't have to go past 1991 or anything like that. But it's whoever you prefer at each position.
Starting 11, and goal, it's tough, man. Between David De Gea and Van der Sar. I think I would go Van der Sar.
Okay.
Yeah, right back. Gary Neville had the stranglehold on that side for 20 years, man. So I think it has to be Gary Neville. Left back, man, that's tough. Left back is tough, but center backs will still be Rio Ferdinand and Vidic.
Okay,
that's still gonna be my center back pairing. And midfield, I would go Paul Scholes, Roy Keane, and Bruno.
Oh, okay. No Ryan Giggs.
No, but Ryan Giggs played as a forward left winger.
No, that's fine.
A left winger.
It's your team, Mike. So you said Paul Scholes, Bruno Fernandes, and
Roy Keane.
I like that. Yeah. I like that midfield. Very balanced.
And in attack, I would go Cristiano Ronaldo. I would go... Dude, it's so tough.
So many strikers.
We had so many, bro. Oh my God, this is so tough.
There's some good strikers, bro.
Yeah, I'm strikers. Like, yo, do I want Rooney or Tevez or dude? I think
Nistelrooy.
Yeah, but out of all of those strikers, my favorite striker is Berbatov.
Put whoever you want. It's your team. You're the coach.
I think I would take peak Cristiano Ronaldo as a left winger on the left. I would go Berbatov, number 9, and on the right-hand side, I think I would go Rooney on the right-hand side.
Yeah, you can play the wing. No Beckham in that team. You don't care.
There's just so many better options. That's just the thing, man. There's just so many better options. And if I'm playing like a classic 4-3-3, which has been the best formation for Manchester United for so many years, or like a 4-2-3-1 that kind of disguised as a 4-3-3. I think that's what I would go with. I just don't know who my left back would be, man. Like it's just so tough. Like what the hell, man? I can't think of I can't think of a good left back.
Sure?
I mean, yo.
Nah, I'm joking.
But the thing is that he's been at the club for so long, even though he was injured a lot of times. Like I can't even remember who my peak left backs were, because at a time Raphael was being deployed at left back sometimes for us.
You want to put Gabriel Ainzer?
You know what? That's not a bad choice.
O'Shea?
Nah, definitely not O'Shea. Definitely not O'Shea. But Gabriel Heinzer is definitely. Yeah, I think that's a really good one. Yeah, I think I would go there.
Oh, bro,
Oh,
we forgot. Yo,
oh.
it's either him or Patrice Evra.
Oh my god! How the fuck did I forget
How did
Avery?
Mike? Come on,
How
bro.
did how did I forget
How?
Avery? Yo, you know what? I kept thinking. I'm like, yo, I know I've had a. I was
You
like,
had
no.
some dude,
I'm
some
like,
crazy dude that
I'm
talks
like,
so
I'm
much
like,
smack on TV.
I'm like, I'm like, no. Ashley Cole played for Chelsea and Arsenal. Like,
Who
no,
is
we
that guy?
didn't have.
Who is that guy that
No,
I'm missing? It's Patrice Evra.
definitely
Oh, I
Avery.
like your team. I like it.
Mm.
You have so many options in strikers position also. I would probably go to Ruud van Nistelrooy, but Berbatov is just it's a lovely player, lovely first touch. What a quality player, man.
Yeah.
All right. Um, I didn't catch you off guard over there, right? Huh?
No, you did. Because I was thinking about some players. I mean, like Di Maria is one of my favorite all-time players, but he only played for United for one season.
Mhm.
So I was even thinking about like I don't know how like trying to sneak him in there,
Nah, you had a
but
good team. You
yeah.
had a good team. So let's move to the next topics. We're gonna go
Uh-huh.
to Real Madrid.
Mm.
We're gonna I wanted to first discuss the 4-4-2 formation with you. Like, what do you like about it? What is the good points that you liked about it? And then what did you not like about it? And would you just go back to the 4-3-3? But let's discuss what did you like about the 4-4-2 first.
Well, what I liked so far from what I'm seeing from that formation is the domination on the ball. Like I think Real Madrid for most of the games. I know we disagree on the Barcelona game, but I feel like Real Madrid really has control of pretty much most of the games that they've played outside of a few moments here and there. But like I know Barcelona destroyed Real Madrid on the scoreline 3-0, but I feel like Real Madrid really maintained possession a lot in that game. And I think they did well outside of like, finding the gaps in the last third, in the final third to actually get better chances on goal. But they still had, I mean, the stats speak for themselves. Like what, 60 plus shots on goal or something like that.
5
And
crossbar shots.
and they only scored what, 2 goals or something like that, whatever it was. So that's what I like. That's definitely the main thing that I like about what what the diamond shape is kind of like doing in the midfield for us. And Vinny and Rodrigo playing inside. Like I mean, it forces like what you love to say about Rodrigo. It forces a lot of link up play. Like you have to do a lot of pass and move with that formation. I feel like it's not really
and
about.
it forces you also to be very very have the ability to play in tight spaces because like it's very tight spaces. Like you have to be able to quick thinking, quick combination, and move. And that's one thing I feel like Vinicius lacks, and that's why he doesn't really like to stay inside. At sometimes you see him, man, fuck that, I'm going to the wing, man. Like, don't play with me like that.
So that's what I like about the formation so far. Now, what I dislike is, I mean, well, Real Madrid has a one glaring issue, and everybody and their moms knows it, except for maybe Fiorentino Perez, who thinks like Joselu is. I was like, oh yeah, we're just gonna wait for Mbappe next year or something like that. Well, are we just gonna wash 1 year away, because we want to wait for Mbappe? It's like, okay, where are the goals coming from with that team? Like,
that's gonna be tough.
Vinicius and Rodrigo are not traditional goal scoring options. Like, it's like, okay, can they become that? It's like, I don't know. Like, I have my doubts. I don't know if they can become that. Can Vinicius give me 25 goals a season? Yes, but at Real Madrid, if you want to compete at the highest level and you want to win trebles, I think you need a striker that could at least give you 40 a season. And I don't see
my
that.
thought, like you were saying, Vinicius can give you 20 goals, but when you're gonna play against a team that's gonna have like certain tactics against him, and makes it life very difficult in the left wing, where you kind of take him out of the game, who's gonna score? It's gonna be Rodrigo. It's gonna be the Bellingham, but that's not what. That to me, that's not really that. That's not their job, kind of for me.
Yeah.
They could score, but
their job is creating.
You need that striker. You need that striker.
Their job.
When they're gonna make, when they're gonna make Vinicius' life difficult, like they're gonna have like 2 players on him. forcing you to play on the right side. What like that's what you're saying. I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, for me, I think like their roles, they're more it being in the creative and in creating space. Like I think that's where they flourish the most. I'm curious to see like if Mbappe. I mean, there are crucial weeks coming ahead. We have like about 2 weeks left in August. To know if Mbappe will be a Madrid player this summer or next year. Um, I'm curious to see how the burden, if Mbappe doesn't come this year, how the burden of a goal scoring is going to affect Vinicius. Because the reality is like he's going to have to score. Like if 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 there's not another striker that comes in, like you're just gonna have to score, bro.
Yeah,
Like it's
you're gonna have to find ways to score.
like that's
Put
just
yourself
it.
in a good position to score as well.
You know, it's not going to be about like creating being the danger man. It's going to have like, yo, I need to figure out how to put the ball in the back of the net. That has to be your main focus. Like, Benzema ain't walking back through those doors, dog. Like,
Bro,
so
that bro kicking over there.
so yeah, so
Well,
that's yeah, go ahead.
crucial weeks are indeed for Mbappe. I think what we can probably see for Mbappe is the waiting game till like the last week of the transfer market,
Mhm.
and Real Madrid is gonna send like a 150 million offer or like in that range, not 200, but like in towards 150 to 180, and you shove it right there to Nasser, and then it puts a lot of pressure on Nasser because you have 150 and 180 million offer. You have 1 week to make that decision. Do you do you take it, or do you decline and
Let him walk
having
for
to go to
free.
the season thinking that yeah, he's gonna leave for free? How am I gonna convince him to re-sign a contract and put in a clause that we can sell you in 2024? So that's what Real Madrid is like. Real Madrid is in no really hurry to make a bid for
Yeah,
Real Madrid.
hundred
They're just
percent
gonna wait to the last minute and put an offer here, and then when you put that offer in the last week, put a lot of pressure on Nasser.
for sure. And I think the last thing that actually um I would say mostly annoys me with the team and like a point of concern. I think it creates a little bit of an imbalance in the midfield
Mm-hmm.
because like right now, like the Real Madrid is so overloaded with midfielders. Um, and it's clear like I mean, obviously they paid a lot of money for Bellingham, so Bellingham is going to be slotted at that CAM position.
Yeah,
I Chouameni has to start. Like it's just like I'm sorry, man. There's no other player on that team that can do the job that he does
yeah.
to protect the back line. Chouameni has to start. So
Especially the
now,
back line is a little bit shaky sometimes.
and now like, you have the two other options. Like, okay, like is it Valverde and Camavinga, or do you go with Cruz
I think
and
Cruz is gonna
Valverde?
compete with Tchouaméni
Hmm.
from what I'm seeing in the news, where like Ancelotti is gonna say like Cruz and Tchouaméni could play the when he was saying Cruz could play the number 6 position. I'm like, all right, he's gonna enter like either one day he's gonna put Cruz, one day he's gonna put Tchouaméni, depending of what he's looking for on that game.
Yeah.
Is he looking for a more defensive aspect? Tchouaméni, is he looking for someone that can play that position but also can create? Is gonna be Cruz. For the other guys, I think Camavinga is gonna be a undisputed starter. The other side is gonna be Valverde, interchanging with Modric, and
Yeah,
then the
man.
two guys in the front. So what they're gonna have to do is when Vinicius goes to the left and Rodrigo goes to the right, that sometimes it's needed for Vinny to kind of shift in. But if he's gonna stay on the right, I'm on the left most of the times, someone has to make those runs in that striker position, which is going to be Bellingham to
Yeah.
cover that, like to cover because like this is like a huge gap. Like someone has to do it, but it's not really his position. But if Vinny's gonna always like kind of stay in the left wing and not shift in, someone has to go to that space.
And he did, like from the games I watched in
He did
preseason,
most of
like
the time.
he
It's
he
gonna be
tried
interesting to see Saturday how they
he
play.
he tried to get into the box a lot for headers.
Yeah,
Like he just didn't connect on them. But yeah, I think that's where my concerns lie for Real Madrid this season. It's just like, yeah, I feel like there's a huge imbalance because of they just have to figure out a different way to play now that Benzema is gone.
Yeah,
So we'll see. It's going to be
we'll see.
interesting again on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday, 3:30 p.m. First game. We'll see. All right. So final topic, PSG transfer market.
Yeah.
I know you didn't really like the grade I gave him, Mike, and you were like, we were tripping on Twitter. Mike said we were tripping because I gave him a 5.
You and Fúbol, man. 5 over 10.
I mean, okay, let's list who came in and who they had. So they have Manuel Ugarte that came from Sporting.
Yep.
Central defensive midfield. He came for 50 million euros. They have Lucas Hernandez, center back, who can also play the left back position. 45 million euros from Bayern Munich. They have Kengin Lee from Mallorca, 22 million, an attacking midfield, who can also play in the wide position on the right side sometimes, depending of what's being asked for him. They did get Xavi Simons, but he went on loan to Leipzig. Probably will come back next year. They have Milan Skriniar. They signed on a free from Inter Milan. They have Marco Asensio also. They signed on a free for Inter Milan. And am I missing someone, Mike? They have Arno Tenas on a free, the goalie they signed.
Goncalo Ramos and Ousmane Dembele.
Yes. Ousmane Dembele is not in yet, so I don't want to really say it, but he's gonna be there.
Yeah. And
we have also Shed Noor. I'm not sure if you know him from Benfica. He's a young guy on a free as well. So, reason why, I'm going to tell you exactly why I give him a 5 out of 10. Those are not the players they wanted at the beginning. That's one. That's kind of lowered my grade already. Manchester United, PSG wanted Bernardo Silva, Harry Kane to start. They were not able to get them, so they had to go to plan B. Yes, you got Asensio on a free. He's a very good player. He's gonna give that right wing position a different look. You're gonna have someone that is gonna take many strikes, who can play inside also. He's gonna give a different look that PSG doesn't have. I'm not sure he's gonna start because Dembele is coming in. I'm pretty sure Dembele is gonna start and he's gonna come as a hell of a player to come off the bench. They don't have quality players like that last year that came from the bench, so that's an upgrade for sure. But that was never PSG's option. To me, this is a agent move that got his player more money, and the agent knowing Campos. I don't think that was Luis Enrique's choice or Qatari's choice. I think that's just an agent giving more money to his players with knowing Campos. To me, so that's why I was like, and for the player itself, he still has to go and play. Besides that, can you really rely on Asensio?
Come on.
No. Like, what can he give? Okay, he's gonna give you the experience at the Champions League and stuff like that. I don't think PSG should focus on Champions League. I think that you have to build a team to get to focus on the Champions League. I think they should build their team first, then focus. Obviously, they're gonna play Champions League, but don't think about it too much, because that's gonna kind of disturb them. That's one. Let's go back to Ugarte. Yes, they never had that position. They did have Danilo, who's a CDM, but he never played that position because of the center back position being vacant. They had to push him down there. I don't even think Ugarte, to me, he's a good player. He's gonna play the position, but right nowadays, CDMs, they have certain qualities to kind of face pressure, and I don't think he has that.
That's left to be determined. Like, we have we have a small sample size from him, and at the end of the day,
absolutely.
Like, when you're looking at what the market dictates, you're looking at Chelsea that paid in a January transfer window after guy played 6 months in Portugal. They paid 120 million euros for Enzo Fernandez. They only played 50 for Ugarte. I call that a fucking W, man. Like, what you're gonna get for Enzo, though.
You know already. You see the quality of player he is.
Do we, though?
From the World Cup, from Benfica, even from small period of Chelsea, I see what he can do. He could move the ball from left to right. He could find players. He could find wing players. He has quality to move forward. he can get the final third pass. You got a player that can do multiple things. That's what I'm saying. Like, look at Tchouaméni. Okay, look at Tchouaméni. He's a central defensive mid that has quality to do more.
But I mean,
that's a W.
That's for
like I said, we have a small sample size.
That's true, but at the end of the day, sometimes like you need a player that fits a role on your team.
Yeah,
it's just like
you're right.
It's just like, for example, like Amrabat, for example, like coming into Manchester United. Are we expecting him to be like a forward ball progressing CDM or number 6? No, he's coming in to protect the back line. My thing is, I think overall, like why I would say like it's at least a 7 out of 10 for them is that they address areas of concern for them. Like they have
Mike.
I mean, they had 2 injuries last year with their center backs, right? And then they had to drop Danilo to play center back. Like, yes, I know you guys are saying like, yo, these guys, Skriniar and Lucas Hernandez, love being injured, but you know they're coming back from injury, they're healthy, and that creates backups for them.
Lucas Hernandez is not going to even start.
I mean, they don't need him to start though. That's why I said they have their starters set.
Listen,
it's Kimpembe and Marquinhos.
First of all, Kimpembe, I don't even think he's gonna play like till like what November or like I'm not sure when he's gonna. I think they should get past him. But my thing is Marquinhos has dropped. Kimpembe is injury prone now. You bring in Skriniar, which they were still gonna get anyways. That's good until he got his back problem. That's not Perez's fault, but to me, Skriniar is a great defender. He plays well in the back 3 to me because he could progress the ball. He's a good defender. I don't know if PSG is gonna go back to I haven't seen him go back to the back 3. But the thing is to me is that you have players like the Croatian that's going to City. You have the money. Why you're not bidding for these kind of players? Why are you bidding for Lucas Hernandez, who has not been on top of their game since a long time? He's not even a starter for Bayern Munich anymore. You need a player that's coming to start, not to come to the bench, to start. That's my problem. That's why I was like, okay, Lucas Hernandez is injury prone. He's not on top anymore. And what is he coming? I mean, yeah, it's creating depth. It's a good player that could create depth, but it addressed slightly the problem to me. Slightly.
I mean, the other thing that we have
2 years, you're gonna need another defender.
I mean, the other thing that we have to look at with Lucas Hernandez is like, okay, like he wasn't a starter for Bayern Munich anymore, but I mean, he had an injury, and before the injury, he was still a starter for the national team in France.
Right. But
so, you know, I mean,
this show is very selective. Even if there was a player better than him, he would have.
You know, he's a left-footed center back, like you said, that could also play as a left back. So I think that creates some versatility. I think a left back position is an area that they had to solidify as well, like as far as backup, because it's only Nuno and I don't even know if Bernat is still there, but Bernat is. I'm not.
He's part of the team. He's part of the players that they're not looking forward to for next season.
Yeah, because I don't really rate him. So
Bernat,
but yeah, I don't really rate him. Like so, I'm thinking like, okay, it's a new regime. It's Luis Enrique. He's a top coach, like in terms of footballing.
I'll give him a grade for having a good coach.
Footballing philosophy. So I would think that like with this crop of players, that creates some type of balance. Yes, there are concerns about 2 of their main players, like Mbappe and Neymar. Don't know if they're still going to be there by the end of August. But even if they're
as well,
even if they're not, Saudi calling, baby. Saudi calling.
Let him go.
But even if they're not, man, it's just that I like what they did in the market. They got a traditional number 9, in Goncalo Ramos, that they could slot in there, that could do link up play with whoever. If it's Neymar, if it's Mbappe that's still there, if it's Ousmane Dembele that's going to start on the right hand side, and they got some decent midfielders. Like so, you got Ugarte. Verratti, we don't know, but you know, I'm thinking
they have Fabian Ruiz, they have Vitinha.
So it was a rough year for them last year. They still ended up winning the French league, but they had a racist coach. They had a racist coach who they got up out of here, and now they got a top coach in Luis Enrique, who I'm very.
Now let me ask you a question. Do you think
Yeah.
Luis Enrique is looking at the squad and be like, "That's the squad you're giving me," or you think like it's okay? I'm gonna try to work with that.
I think he's looking at it like I'm gonna try to work with that for now. Come January, if things are not going well, I think knowing that guy's personality, he's gonna be talking.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Gonzalo. I like Ramos coming in because you got a striker that you remember that. I don't know if you remember the second leg of Bayern Munich versus PSG when they had like Vitinha had that open net, and you good?
Yeah. I just saw like a crazy punch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You remember that second leg when Vitinha had like the open net and he kind of like he should have strike it and then he just kind of like he strike it like as it was a pass.
Like a pass. Yep.
You have a striker that's coming in and that likes those areas, and that's gonna be deadly. We saw in the World Cup the major strike he did. That was a very I don't remember which team he played. It was like I think it was the round of 16 or something. You have a striker on that, even though he was not their first choice of striker, but he's still a quality striker that can. Now, my only concern is that at what is he really the striker of the future for PSG? That's my only concern. But I'm not gonna go as deep as that because I know like he's a young player.
Yeah,
he got a lot to accomplish.
I mean,
he played very major tournament already. He plays Champions League tournament, so he already has experience for his age. So that's a good thing. Now, can he keep up playing in an atmosphere like that, and also being very like because like it kind of reminds me of Icardi coming in, having a good first 3-4 months and then disappear. I don't want him to happen like that to him.
I mean, we'll see. That'll depend on the players around him. If
I'm still keeping that 5 out of 10 though.
I see. Like it's going to be depending on like if the players want to play for him or if he's just there to fit a role to actually hold up play to actually link up with the other guys.
Well, it depends on the wingers he got. Like the winger that they have, like who plays in the left. So if Mbappe doesn't play, it's gonna be Neymar.
Yep.
Or maybe Kang Lee, or Barcola if they get Barcola from Lyon. In the right side you have Dembele, who's not gonna cross that ball because he's gonna be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like we don't know what he's gonna do in that ring. And Dembele coming into that team, if there's no Mbappe, he's gonna think he's gonna be the main guy. So is he gonna cross those? Like Ramos needs those crosses. He needs those passes. He needs the support. So it's gonna be they have a good coach that's gonna bring a good philosophy. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, and when you
as well, first game.
And when you think about it, they were targeting an even younger guy before sealing Goncalo Ramos and Rasmus. So
yeah, they don't even know why they wanted him, to be honest. They didn't know why they wanted. That's you remember what's the Turkish guy again in Real Madrid?
Arda Güler.
They want out of nowhere. They were like, okay, we want Arda too. Like, why do you want him? Okay, sit down. Tell me why you want him.
They want that Galacticos.
Real Madrid been on that case for 2 years.
They want that Galacticos era.
Yeah, sure. they saw him on YouTube for like 1 hour. Be like, okay, we want him too. But yeah, we'll see. They play on Saturday. I'm very curious to see how they do their first game. I want to see how they line up their first team. Most likely Asensio is gonna start because they're not too sure. Because Neymar's not gonna be here, and Mbappe's not gonna be here, so that's creates space for Asensio to start. So it's gonna be interesting to see their first game. Oh, soccer's back, baby! So, last topic for the day, we're gonna be discussing the USA selected team for the World Cup 2023. And I believe Mike think they're trash too, if I'm not mistaken. No,
I don't think they're trash. I just don't think it's enough.
Not attractive.
I just don't think it's enough for the international stage. But these coaches are gonna have to coach their asses off.
The last World Cup, they had quality players that did not make it, Mike. So maybe he's trying something different. But Gilbert Arena said that the Team USA has a sorry roster. So that's what he was saying in his podcast. And he said that you see that the list they got, their sorry ass group. he's happy for them, but they're a very sorry ass group. So like he said, many of the players wouldn't even start for their team, and he said that Steve Kerr's looking for a style that fits. He said, how do you even know it wouldn't fit if you didn't call like the main guys? So tell me, you're looking at the list. You know the list of the players?
Jaren Jackson, Austin Reeves, Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson,
sir, Bridges,
Walker Kessler, Cam Johnson. Yeah, I know,
Paolo Branquero.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
Partis.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
The veteran. Brandon Ingram. We forgot Brandon Ingram, man.
Yeah, BI. Yeah, there's quite a few talented players on there.
I think they have a team that can compete. I don't think they're gonna win because when you're playing against, like you said, when you're playing against teams that play so often and they have chemistry, it's very hard to beat them, and it's a different kind of ball game that you're gonna play. But there's quality there, man. There's quality. I'm not sure why they're labeling them like as a. I mean, he's labeling them as a sorry ass group. I don't think that's a sorry ass group. I think that's not an attractive group, but I think that's a very competitive group that everyone at their position can do very well. Everyone at their position.
I mean, you're looking at some elite talent, like Anthony Edwards, BI, Jalen Brunson. I wouldn't say is elite, but Jalen Brunson is a fantastic.
Serious though.
Jalen Brunson is a fantastic point guard. I'm just looking at it.
We forgot Josh Hart.
Whatever. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's, I don't really mean to be disrespectful. It's like there's a lot of good role players on that squad, and you can make a cohesive unit and a team that fits with good role players, right? Like you have, you could feel the starting group and you're like, okay, Anthony Edwards and BI, you guys are going to be the go-to guys. Jalen Brunson, you're going to be in charge of orchestrating. You're going to be the wing defender, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. My thing is, like, when you get onto the international level, and like I was telling you guys, like the teams that have chemistry and they built that chemistry for years, what USA has always relied on is their overwhelming talent. And that's what actually got us W's, like, because we were just able to overpower them. It doesn't matter if, like, guys haven't played together at all. Like, you put Kevin Durant, KD, or Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook on a team together, they're going to figure that shit out. And it's like, all right, we got some guys that are ultra competitive. They're going to play defense. We know that for sure. But yet they're on the offense, they could actually just go out and hoop like it's a pickup game. But with these guys, like the Cam Johnsons of the world, Mikal Bridges, like, all right, like you guys are starting to fit in your new roles in Brooklyn, but can you really get it done on the international level? I don't know. I'm not so sure yet. Like I'm curious to see, because I would hate the embarrassment.
You said Slovenia's gonna wash them, right?
No, I didn't. Let me be clear. I didn't say Slovenia is going to watch him. I said
Luka
Doncic.
I mean, Luka can wash them. That's Luka Doncic. That's one of the best point guard of the league.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It. Not even the team.
I thought you meant that they're going to get an easy W.
I'm not even the team. I said Luka Doncic will beat this team by himself, and I can't wait to watch Saturday. Yeah.
I mean, it means they're gonna watch. He's gonna wash them.
Yeah, gonna put him through the ringer on Saturday.
Say with your chest, Mike.
I can't wait.
Is he gonna watch the team or not? That's it.
Luka dropping 35 and 10, easy on Saturday.
I mean, come on, like that's Luka Doncic. He's gonna get his 35 and 10. That's not a problem. I know that for a fact. I don't think they're gonna win. But what time they're playing on Saturday?
I don't know the time.
I gotta watch that game. I'm not sure if it's at night, that's probably good, because if it's during the day, maybe I can't watch it. But I agree with you that it's international level is very difficult, like you said. It is when you have players like Kobe, Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony. Yo, you could come back from a party and they can come in, and even if it's gonna be a different, because I think like there was what was the final game they were playing? Was it Argentina or Spain?
Yeah, one of those.
They were struggling in that game, but talent took him over. So I understand that those players that they have, it's gonna be very difficult. But however, I feel like when I'm looking at the names of those players, I feel like those players have something special that they can accomplish. Like Mikal Bridges, like you said, he comes from Brooklyn. He's trying to figure out how to be the main guy. He's always been in the shadow of Booker.
CP3.
Yeah. So he hasn't really had any pressure. That's gonna be like, well, I want to say Booker is a pressure yet because he just came, got knocked out 4-0. Next year's gonna be a lot of pressure because he's gonna be one of those go-to guys. That can start from here, like how to figure it out, like to be the go-to guys if they need some wing scoring and stuff like that. Jalen Brunson, I think he's not gonna score a lot. He's gonna be orchestrating, but he's a tough guy, man. So Anthony Edwards, so he's a leader already in his team. He's a stud. If he could drop a 30-point with you not noticing. He's a young guy. He's gonna make mistakes. Jaren Jackson Jr., shot blocker, ring protector, dunker. He could stretch the floor. I know it's not the same game, but I'm just seeing players right now that has like Austin Reeves is a baller. Josh Hart, I know you don't want to mention it, but he's a hell of a defender. He's an energizer.
No, for sure. But that's the thing, that he's a good role fit. You get what I mean? Yeah. He's a good role fit, and he could knock down the threes. But man, I don't know. Like
now, I know what you're saying. I'm not saying they're gonna win the competition. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying I do not like the way they're naming a sorry ass group. That's not a sorry ass group.
I mean, Gilbert is disrespectful. Gilbert is just bitter. Like, you know, he's
you saw bitter. The episode when he was talking about Bobo. Like, bro, chill.
Who's Bobo?
He was screaming like Bobo is a lazy bum.
Boban?
Because Bobo. He was saying how come Bobo. I don't remember who he was comparing him to, but he was saying that I don't know. He was just screaming, and people were like, "Yo." He was saying Bobo doesn't take the game serious or some stuff like that. I was like, "What?" He's I don't know, man. But yeah, Gilbert is a salty guy. But yeah, so I'm curious to see what how the results on Saturday, because Mike said Luka Doncic is gonna watch the USA team, so we'll see.
I want to see what group they're in as well. But Anthony Edwards, I think this is going to be a great experience for him. I can't see how he gets back to Minnesota after this experience. But these guys, they got the pressure on them, man. They're going to have to represent USA real well, and they're going to have to go out there and fight like dogs.
We'll see. I'll be surprised if they win, to be honest, but I'm rooting for them to see. Please don't embarrass me. Yeah. Any last words before we close the episode, Mike?
No, good to be back, man. Been a while.
Yes, sir. Soccer's back. Soccer is back.
I don't know why Benjamin Pavard wants to be at Manchester United, and I don't know why Manchester United want Benjamin Pavard. Like, what is going on? I mean, Fabrizio said it, so unless he's coming in to play center back,
he could play center back too, if needed.
Yeah, because we don't need no right back, bro.
All right. So this was episode 64. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and like I said, your Twitter handles is gonna be in the comments if you wanna interact with us. Soccer season is back. Basketball is almost back, but Premier League is gonna be back this weekend. La Liga is back. French League is back. Mm-hmm. So yeah, man. Let's get it.
You know, there's a guy at work that listened to me like when I was sending you guys a voice note and I was speaking Creole, mm-hmm. and he was like, "Yo, you sound so different." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah." You know, Creole is like, you know, like a harsh, raw language sometimes. He's like, "No." He's like, "You sound more happy." I was like, "Oh."
He said you sound more happy.
It's like, yeah, man. I'm talking sports with my boys, man. That's I'm not talking about this bullshit ass job.
Yo, that's crazy. You said you sound more happy.
Yeah.
Damn, that game is at 3:30 p.m. actually, Mike. So
for USA versus Slovenia.
Team, so while you're waiting for the TV,
yeah. Hopefully my TV's there by then. Hopefully my TV's
TV coming at 2:30. Look it so I can watch the game. It's on FS1. I think you have Fúbol, right?
You know what's crazy? With my new TV, I will have Fúbol for 3 months for free.
Yeah. There you go. Hopefully your TV comes in right on time so we can watch the game. All right. So this was episode 64. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. Peace.